Ladies and gentlemen, it is WrestleMania season once again, the greatest time of the year to be a wrestling fan. And with WrestleMania right around the corner, it's only fitting that we give our WrestleMania predictions. We're live right now on Twitch with our subathon, so if you guys would like to join us throughout the next week or so, be sure to check me out over on twitch.tv/conman167 in order to be part of this subathon. We have so many live videos planned, so much great reaction content, so be sure to join us over there. Now, with that being said, WrestleMania is 2 nights again this year. We have night 1 and night 2. We know the card, we know the layout, so without further ado, let's just get right into it. So we already know that night 1 is going to be main evented by Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins, but we're also going to see Gunther and Jey Uso, Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, War Raiders and New Day, LA Knight, and Jacob Fatu, Rey Mysterio, El Grande Americano, and Jade Cargill versus Naomi on night 1. Night 2 is going to be headlined by John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship, but we're also going to see Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, Penta, and Finn Balor, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, and AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. So let's kick things off with Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This story has been incredible, and all credit in the world to Naomi for making herself feel like just even a bigger star throughout all of this. Proceed with caution. Naomi has become one of the most interesting characters, to me at least, in the women's division. And I would absolutely love it if Naomi got this win over Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. And honestly, as I'm looking here at my predictions that I've made ahead of time, I feel like Naomi would benefit so much from a win here, right? She would benefit being able to move up that card, potentially going after Bianca Belair should she win the championship. It feels like Naomi could very well move her character to the next level. But at the same time, we are talking about Jade Cargill, one of WWE's gems that they have, somebody that they see winning multiple championships in the future, drawing money, main eventing a WrestleMania. And I just don't know if they see the same level of star for Naomi. So while it's difficult to bet against Naomi with this incredible run that she's on after turning heel and all that, I think the story is more interesting. Should Jade Cargill beat Naomi at WrestleMania and Naomi still just try to be this Weasley heel, especially when they go after Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill? If they have a triple threat between those three, that could be an easy way to tie it all in together. So my official prediction is Jade Cargill wins at WrestleMania. Next up, Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. And I know that this character has been just a little bit controversial. Not everybody is in love with El Grande Americano, but it's certainly representing the times that we are in right now. And I think Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano is going to be one of the most interesting matches on the entire night. Seriously, like El Grande Americano is not Chad Gable. Okay, I don't know who you are saying that is Chad Gable. You need to get a mirror. That man has a mask. Chad Gable doesn't wear a mask. It's as simple as that. It's not Chad Gable. And we need Chad Gable to show up and help El Grande Americano in this match. It has to happen. But I am also somebody who loves Rey Mysterio, and even though he's maybe not the best dad in the world, he's still a living legend. And Rey Mysterio is one of those guys that most people are able to recognize. Would I love to see El Grande Americano pick up the win over Rey? Yes, I would. In fact, that's what I am hoping for. What I think's going to happen is we get a moment at WrestleMania where Rey Mysterio beats El Grande Americano and demasks him. I think we get the reveal of who El Grande Americano is at WrestleMania, and it is just going to be one of the most incredibly shocking moments of all time when we find out who is finally under that mask. So final prediction, Rey Mysterio picks up the win. So next up is LA Knight, versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. This build has certainly been interesting. I feel like for a hot minute there, nobody had a clue what they wanted to do with the United States title at WrestleMania. It felt like maybe we were building to a multi-man match, and then we were building to like maybe just a one-on-one match, and then we were going back to like a ladder match potentially. Like it just felt like there was so much going on, but we've settled on Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. And for me, this has to be either the moment that we make a star with Jacob Fatu, or it's the moment that we see the end of Bloodline 2.0, at least as we know it. It's either going to be a true, honest squash with Jacob Fatu beating LA Knight in like 5 minutes and taking that title off of him and holding on to that thing and feuding maybe against Solo Sikoa for the United States title, or it's Solo Sikoa costing Jacob Fatu the match, and that leads into the fallout with the breakup of the bloodline. I think LA Knight needs this win. I think he truly needs the win over Jacob Fatu. The part of me that wants to see Jacob Fatu win is probably the same part of you that wants to see Jacob Fatu win. He is a beast. He's an animal. You know what I mean? You know, he is incredibly entertaining to watch in that ring, and especially on the microphone as well. So it would be very, very cool to see him win the United States title at Mania. But we're also, again, talking about this big feud that could potentially be there with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu moving into, I don't know, going into SummerSlam or something like that. Like, that is a big time feud, and I think that's the direction we're going in. So my official prediction is LA Knight retains his title. Next up is the War Raiders versus the New Day for the Raw Tag Team Championships, and this has like no build. It's just going on to the card. We're just putting this on there for the sake of having a tag team title match. But I was doing some thinking. This is the New Day, right? One of the most legendary tag teams of all time, and they just recently turned heel. It would be a shame to not see the New Day at WrestleMania, right? I feel like everybody needs to see what heel New Day is truly all about, and the way that we do that is we build them up to be true contenders once again, and maybe be established again in the tag team division as a heel. Them winning the tag team titles at WrestleMania seems like almost a foregone conclusion, except for the fact that I think we get not necessarily a true bow tie at the end of this story, but we get to bring on the next part of it. And I think we are going to call back Big E in this matchup. I think at some point, Big E is there to cost the New Day the tag team titles. I think it's happening. I think the War Raiders retain onto those tag team championships because of Big E. And we have to continue to explore that, especially if there is any possibility of Big E ever being back inside the ring. But the thing with the New Day is that the reason they're heels to begin with is because of everything that happened with Big E. Everything that happened when they turned on him. We haven't gotten the true follow-up to it that we need. We've just gotten the heel New Day, and the heel New Day has struggled to get over with this crowd. There's something missing. You know what's missing? It was that they didn't strike while the iron was hot when they turned on Big E, and now people just don't have that same hatred for the New Day. We need to see Big E be established back in this story. Hell, it would be very, very wild if we saw Big E take a bump. Can you imagine if after the match, Big E gets jumped by the New Day? Right? Can you imagine if they jumped him? There's something to dig your teeth into. Anyways, I have the War Raiders retaining their tag team titles right here. There you go. War Raiders. English be tough. Next up, it's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship. And this whole feud, right out of the gate, people were sour on it when Charlotte Flair returned and won the Royal Rumble. People immediately knew that they weren't going to like it because they didn't want to see Charlotte Flair win. They didn't want to see Charlotte Flair come back and just be inserted in a title picture at WrestleMania. You know what they also don't want to see? They don't want to see Charlotte Flair win at WrestleMania, which is exactly why I think it's going to happen. Charlotte Flair is coming back, and there's no doubt in my mind that she's coming back to win the championship. It's Charlotte Flair, all right? This is Charlotte Flair to a T. This is her definition. She shows up, wins a title, and then leaves again at some point. Like, it's what's happening. I think Tiffany Stratton has been a little bit buried in this feud, just a little bit. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but certainly not made to feel as big of a star as Charlotte Flair. And now she's stepped up for herself, stood up for herself. It looks like Tiffany Stratton is finally starting to get one over on Charlotte. That's why I think Charlotte Flair is the one who walks out with the win. I need this moment where Tiffany Stratton realizes she's not as good as she thinks she is. She needs to grow. She needs to go through adversity, right? She needs to go through her own hard times. Think of when Cody Rhodes lost at WrestleMania 39. People were like, why didn't he win the title? He went to go on through crazy hard times, and I think that's exactly what Tiffany Stratton needs before she can win that championship back. Charlotte Flair was right. She won this via a Money in the Bank cash-in. She didn't necessarily beat anybody clean in order to win this championship. So yeah, like, you know, the rookie against the vet, you kind of have to tell that story. And I think the vet gets one over the rookie here. But then I think at SummerSlam, we roll it back. Charlotte Flair, Tiffany 2 at SummerSlam. One of those main events works for me. Then we have Gunther versus main event, but not in the main event, Jey Uso. Yeet. I'm so ready to yeet all over the place. I'm so ready to see that entire crowd in unison doing this. I'm so ready to see half the white people in the crowd not be able to figure out the beat and like go with like hands in the air like this. I'm so ready for it, man. I need to see Jey Uso win this championship at WrestleMania. I have been behind Jey Uso for God knows how long at this point now, man. Like it's crazy how long it feels like I have been singing the tune of the yeet, man. And here we are. He's finally getting his opportunity for the World Heavyweight title. And all of you fools turned on him. Every single one of you. What is wrong with you? Like, what does this man gotta do? He wins the Royal Rumble and everybody says no yeet. Bro, it is Jey Uso's time. He has gone from being the right-hand man, being one of the most important parts of the Bloodline story, to now being one of the most over characters in all of WWE. Now you have his family being destroyed by the evil, menacing Gunther. They did a story where he lost confidence in himself. He is doing everything he possibly can to get you to care about him, and for some reason you still don't care. So I have to sing the tune. I have to be behind Jey Uso, all right? If I'm not going to be, who is going to be? Yeet, Jey Uso, you win the title at WrestleMania. And now let's talk main event of night one. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman in the corner of CM Punk. I gotta be real. This is one of those matches I have no idea what's gonna happen. And I love that. I have no idea what's gonna happen. For me, these are three of the biggest stars that I have seen in the business. I started watching in 2005. And you know how it usually takes a few years to truly get into the business, right? Well, 2008 onwards was when I really started remembering everything that was happening around me. And seeing the Shield come in not that long after that, being one of the most dominant forces in WWE, and also at the same time seeing CM Punk run with that WWE Championship. I know it was a few years after 2008, but you get what I mean. I saw that entire run like most of you did. And I connect with all three of these guys in the ring. I connect with Roman Reigns. And no, it's not because I love Roman Reigns, but it's because this man has destroyed all of my favorites through the years. I still don't acknowledge you, Roman. I love CM Punk. Man, he has come back and become one of my favorites of all time, legitimately, from his run in AEW to WWE and all the stuff he did beforehand. I love CM Punk, and I truly am emotionally invested with everything he's got going on. And then Seth Rollins over here, I think he stepped his game up. I know he's kind of the third wheel in this whole story, but at the same time, every time Seth Rollins speaks, every time he shows up, I feel like he adds a whole different dynamic to this feud that really has taken it another step. I'm sure you could have still done CM Punk Roman Reigns one-on-one, but Rollins' addition to this adds another level to it. It's incredibly difficult to predict what I think's going to happen. I'm imagining at some point during this match, there is a miscommunication with Roman and Paul Heyman, and that probably leads into the finish. I'm going to officially predict that, screw it. Yeah, I'll officially predict it. It's CM Punk, I think, is going to walk out with the win. Punk getting his WrestleMania main event. Punk's got to win his WrestleMania main event. I think there's more stuff going on with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns that we will explore in the future. But yeah, it's got to be CM Punk. My official prediction, CM Punk. Now, in saying that, I am doing a little predictions contest with a whole bunch of different creators. So if you would like to see it, be sure to follow me over on X at Conman167. But I have a few extra tiebreaker type of things right here. So I have to make an official prediction as to who does Paul Heyman leave with. It's either Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, or no one. I'm going to say he officially leaves with I want to say no one but CM Punk. I'll say CM Punk. Screw it, right? Let's have that moment with Punk and Heyman at the very top of the ramp hugging each other after he wins the main event of WrestleMania. Cool. And then low blow from Paul Heyman turns heel and Seth Rollins low blows Roman Reigns. And then we have Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins together. Okay, I'm just joking around. Anyways, I'm going to say CM Punk, Paul Heyman walks out with. Now, there's another match that is not confirmed yet. We think Randy Orton is going to have a match at WrestleMania, and there's a whole bunch of different names out there that he could face. People are speculating it could be like a Rusev, an Aleister Black, a Rey Fenix, a Solo Sikoa, Sheamus, Karrion Kross, Nick Aldis. Like, there's a lot of different names that it could be. And if he is to face somebody at WrestleMania, well, it's probably one of those names. Probably. I'm going to go ahead and say my official prediction is we are going to see Nick Aldis. I think Aldis is the one who goes in the ring and wrestles a match with Randy Orton. Out of everybody in WWE that I just listed right there, I think Nick Aldis is the one who could take the loss and it not affect his character at all, but it still give Randy Orton the win at WrestleMania. But also the idea that we face him up against Solo Sikoa is certainly a possibility. It's not an interesting one, but Randy needs a win there. We could also get like a debut of Rusev or Aleister Black, who just go in there and crush Randy Orton. I almost said Rey Mysterio. Go in there and crush Randy Orton. That could be a thing, but my official prediction is we're going to get Nick Aldis on Friday Night SmackDown saying that I'm going to face you at WrestleMania. That was not a good Nick Aldis impression. All right, night 2, AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I actually have this penciled in to be one of the matches of the weekend. It could very well steal the whole show. I think with AJ Styles' in-ring ability and Logan Paul's like athleticism, this has all the makings to be a show stealer. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be a 5-star or anything like that, but I do believe by the end of it, we're going to look at AJ Styles and Logan Paul and say, wow, that was a hell of a match. To me, this also has to be the rise of Logan Paul. We need to see him have more wins at WrestleMania. We need to see him have more wins just in general in order to keep that type of heat on him. And AJ Styles, as much as he's a living legend, he's also at the end of his career. And when you're in the wrestling business, you go out on your back. And I'm not saying that AJ Styles is necessarily retiring right now after WrestleMania, but also who knows if this is his last WrestleMania, right? This very well could be his last WrestleMania. And if that's the case, AJ Styles is a pro's pro. I think he's going to put over Logan Paul. That's my pick. Logan Paul picks up the win. We have a Sin City street fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. All right, man, this entire feud has been centered around real glass in the eye. Actually, not really centered around it. It's actually a year in the making, folks. It's all the way from last year's WrestleMania when Damian Priest cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on Drew McIntyre, stealing that world title away from him. And on paper, this makes a lot of sense to have happen at WrestleMania. Like if you take a look at WrestleMania 40 and say you didn't watch a single show from WrestleMania 40 all the way to WrestleMania 41, chances are when you see this match, you're like, hey, I remember that happening. I remember this dude cashed in his contract on him. Yeah, that makes sense why they're fighting in a street fight. It's always very important to have continuity when it comes to WrestleManias. Like if you were to just watch WrestleManias, which some people just do, you need to make it make sense from one year to the next. And it doesn't always make sense because the middle of the card and all of that is very, very heavy. But if you look at where we have went from like WrestleMania 38 to 39 to 40 to 41 now, it's the story of Cody Rhodes returning to WWE, going up, trying to finish his story, failing. WrestleMania 40, he captures the title. WrestleMania 41, he's defending the title against his hero. Right? It is a logical story from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. And now we're talking about the other world champion last year, Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. That makes sense. Go from one Mania to the next. These two are now fighting over the title, not a title, I guess, but just fighting over the fact that they hate each other. It's going to be a good match. I think this needs to be Drew McIntyre's win. It would be strange if this was Damian Priest. And all love to Damian. I think he's a great talent. But now is not his time. We need to rebuild Drew McIntyre after just the way he was treated here to start 2024. I know this match isn't what everybody wanted to see. They've made it a pretty good build, and I think the match is going to be really damn good at the very end of it. But we need to rebuild Drew McIntyre. He needs to go Roman hunting after WrestleMania. Then we have the IC Championship match. It's Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio! That's just so unnecessary. I'm sorry. I just cracked myself up with that. My bad, chat. All right. So this one's been interesting. It's been an interesting build to say the least. Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio. It's been like Dominic wanted to recruit Penta into the Judgment Day. Penta said no. Braun Breaker and Finn Balor had their match. Now Dom wants a match for the IC Championship, and Finn gets his match. It's been all like everybody wants the title, and Braun Breaker's just out here still being an absolute freak, spearing every single person in sight. It's a tough match to predict. Part of me is leaning towards saying Finn Balor's going to win the title because he said that he was going to bring the IC Championship back to the Judgment Day, and I think with how Finn's been booked, that would be a great little little tie in there to his whole character if he's actually able to be the guy to bring the IC championship to the group. There's also the interesting idea that Dominic Mysterio is the guy who brings the IC championship to the group, and Finn Balor doesn't like that. He's a little jealous that he won the title. There's also the possibility that Penta could very well win this championship and go on to have a really great run, because the IC championship is essentially being treated once again as like the stepping stone to the world title. And if Braun Breaker loses the IC championship here, he's probably destined to go to the world title. So are they looking at the same thing for Penta? Do they see Dominic at that level? Do they see Finn Balor at that level? There's a lot that goes into this. I do have an official prediction. And as I'm looking at my sheet right here, because I forgot about it as I'm saying it out loud, I think I'm changing my mind. I had Penta marked down right here to begin with. I think I'm going to change my mind. And the reason I think I have to change it is because, like, I don't see, okay, well, here's the thing. Braun Breaker could move up to the world title picture. He could very well move up to it after WrestleMania. And if Jey Uso is, if Jey Uso is the guy who wins the title, well, then maybe then you have Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso. That could be an interesting matchup right there if Braun Breaker does lose the IC championship. And I think there's just so much story right now between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio that one of them has to win the title. I'm going to say Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor getting his moment at... Oh, Dirty Dom, though, winning would be really cool with Balor being jealous. No, I'm going to say Finn Balor picks up the IC title win at WrestleMania, and then we are going to have a bit of a story between Dom and Finn moving forward. I think, at least. I mean, I truly don't know, and I love that I don't know that one. It could be, honestly, any one of the four right there. Women's Tag Team title match. Up next, it's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, who just won a gauntlet match on Friday Night SmackDown to get this opportunity. The women's tag division is in shambles at the moment, as is, honestly, most of the tag divisions across the board. Friday Night SmackDown's not too bad, but they don't even get a match at WrestleMania. It's not the greatest state of the tag team division that it's ever been, but this is not a shot at Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. It's just a shot at WWE for not truly building up viable tag teams around WrestleMania season. It's insane. If you thought that you were going to have the women's tag team title match at WrestleMania, you maybe should have spent more than 1 week out trying to build up your tag team division. To be fair, they have put a few more weeks in than that. I know I'm being a little dramatic right here. There was a build going into WrestleMania. We did have Lyra Valkyria and Bayley fight for the IC championship and then become a tag team after that. We did see Bayley want the IC championship, so maybe that's going to play into WrestleMania. In fact, I'll be as bold to say it will play into WrestleMania. I think we get a Bayley heel turn. I know. I think Bayley turns heel on Lyra Valkyria during this match, and that's how they lose the matchup. I think Bayley hits either a Rose Plant or a Bayley to Belly or something like that and screws over Lyra Valkyria turning heel. Liv Morgan and Raquel retain. We enter into an IC championship feud between Lyra and Bayley after WrestleMania. My official prediction, Liv and Raquel retain the titles. Then we go into the Women's World Championship match. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. These three stars have been doing everything they possibly can to make this feud feel like a gigantic deal, and I've loved it. I know that everybody this year has a very strong opinion about WrestleMania, but seeing Io Sky start to stand up for herself, seeing how they were just pushing her off to the side, trying to make her feel like an afterthought, only for Io to finally muster up the strength and just beat them all down, was incredibly fun to watch. But she didn't get her full lick back, right? She needs to get her full lick back, and I think that lick could come here at WrestleMania. Now, I'm in between a rock and a hard place with this pick, because if Io loses, she was basically beat down during this feud. She was not elevated that much during this feud. So it's if Io wins, awesome. Feud kind of fixed for her. If she loses, where does Io go from there? That's my concern. And so part of me wants to pick Io Sky. And here's the thing. There's somebody else who is 4-0 at WrestleMania. There's somebody else named Bianca Belair who has a potential feud waiting right there with a Jade Cargill or a Naomi or both should she win the championship. If she loses the championship, or doesn't win it, I should say, she still has that feud to go to. So part of me wonders, do they continue the undefeated streak for Bianca Belair at WrestleMania? Having her just lose when she could win, and it could make sense for a story, feels like the wrong call for her to lose. You know what I mean? It feels like this should be the moment that Bianca Belair wins at WrestleMania. She's entered a new direction for her character, and that character holding on to the title could be very fun to watch, but also it could be incredibly entertaining if, let's say, maybe Jade Cargill or Naomi cost her the match and she loses because of that. Like, that's definitely a possibility as well. So my official prediction, folks, I know it's a little long-winded, but my official prediction is that Bianca Belair is our new women's champion. All right, then it's our main event. It is Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Undisputed Championship. And like, you guys are going to get Tucky's predictions at some point during the WrestleMania subathon. He's going to pick some treats out of my hands and tell you guys who he thinks is going to win each one. But for me in this one, I can't see a world where Cody Rhodes retains. And I'm saying that. Oh man, like you guys know, that is signed by Cody Rhodes. That moment is one of my favorite moments I have ever witnessed in professional wrestling history. WrestleMania 39. I'm actually, you know what? I'll go back to WrestleMania 38. The anticipation of seeing Cody come to WWE at WrestleMania 38 was amazing. Living through him getting injured, wrestling through that Hell in a Cell match against Seth Rollins, returning and winning the Royal Rumble, only to lose to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. He fought and clawed his way all the way to WrestleMania 40, finally finished his story. He wasn't even supposed to be in the match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, even though he won the Royal Rumble. He still wasn't supposed to be in the match, gave it up to Rock, got the match back. And here we are a year later, Cody Rhodes defending his title against his icon, his idol, John Cena. How do you keep the title on Cody with everything that's going on? Everything that Cena has said in his final year of professional wrestling. How do you keep the title on Cody Rhodes? What do we do after that? John Cena still has the rest of the year. John Cena losing here at WrestleMania, to me, is status quo moving forward and nothing has changed. And what was the point of this story? I don't feel like Cody Rhodes beating John Cena at WrestleMania does much for Cody. And that's crazy to say. I don't think it will make fans like him more if he beats John Cena at WrestleMania. I don't think Cody Rhodes winning at the show of shows is good for his babyface character. If anything, if he beats John Cena at WrestleMania, I think fans turn on him. I believe that the fans, as much as they are not loving John Cena breaking up with them, they want to see John Cena win the 17th championship. They want to see John Cena break the record. I know I do. I know you do. It's history, right? And I need to see the story of John Cena, what he does with that championship after WrestleMania. To me, it's one of those moments that, like, you could have Cody beat this guy, this legend from the past, and maybe elevate his stock. But I almost want to say, like, if you asked a random fan on the street, who are they rooting for at WrestleMania? They're probably rooting for John Cena. Unless you're like a diehard wrestling fan, you're probably not rooting for Cody Rhodes. It's just how I feel this year going into WrestleMania. I'm still rooting for Cody. If Cody wins and he beats John Cena, then awesome, cool. Cody Rhodes beat John Cena at the Grande stage in the mall in his last year. Dope. But it's not as much of a interesting storyline, I want to say, moving forward. So anyways, official prediction, John Cena beats Cody Rhodes and becomes the 17th world champion. Or 17-time world champion. There we go. So we also have a couple tiebreakers right here at the end for this predictions contest. And again, if you would like to check out the predictions contest, it will be all over on Twitter. So follow me at Conman167 on X or on Twitter. But how many championships will change hands as a whole? I have 5 championships changing hands here tonight. So 5 tonight, or at least at WrestleMania. So I'm going to go with the classic 5 right there. That makes the most amount of sense to me. And it lines up with my predictions that I have as well. So let me know, how many title matches or titles do you think are going... English is tough. How many titles do you think are going to change hands? Let me know. And the last tiebreaker that I have here is, do we see The Rock at WrestleMania? My answer is yes. Yes, I think we do see The Rock at WrestleMania. If we don't see The Rock at WrestleMania, what are we doing here? What was the entire point of this whole build? What was the point of him being involved at Elimination Chamber? We need answers from The Rock. Dwayne, please be at WrestleMania. Please provide us with something. And if anything, provide us with a freaking cool moment at the very end of that match. Maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin comes and joins Cody Rhodes in his corner. That would be dope. We'll see, though. But those are my official predictions. Let me know yours in the comments section below. There is so much going on here on the Twitch page, so be sure to follow me on Twitch at Conman167. I am live for the subathon for like the whole... I gotta catch my breath. I'm live with the subathon here until potentially, well, I mean, as of now, it's 24 hours. Who knows how long we'll be live, but the goal is to get all the way through until the end of WrestleMania season. So after SmackDown, after Mania. That's the goal. We'll see if we can make it there. So be sure to join me on Twitch at Conman167. Make sure you leave a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications and keep coming back every single day, because even though we're doing a subathon, we still upload wrestling videos every single day. Thanks for watching. Happy WrestleMania.